Hello everyone, and today I thought I'd make a video serving as a brief overview of all the resources that I've been using up until now that I wish I would have known sooner when starting my own language learning journey, and kind of giving you guys my recommendations for who it's best for, if you should really spend your time using it or not, and how it can be helpful to those depending on what your goal is for the language that you're learning. That being said, I do think it's important to discuss what your goals are when you're going into learning a language, because that is the core factor of where you put your time and your money at. For the sake of this video, I just made 3 different categories for what made sense to me and what are some common goals that I would think people would have when learning a language. First being casual learners. So that is people who are wanting to have ample conversations, but you're not really someone who is interested in maybe watching content in that language or reading books in that language. You might just want to travel to a country and just have seldom conversations here or there and not really want to become fluent in that language. You're very casual. Second category being for students, whether you are abroad, university, high school, middle school. These will be all resources that you would want to get extra help in either grammar, writing, or even listening, but maybe you don't want to fully consume that language in media and TV shows. You kind of just want additional help for structure, vocab, things of that nature. And the last one is for fluency. So those who want to completely immerse themselves in the language and make sure they become fluent in the language. So that way you are listening to podcasts, TV shows, music, so you can really hone that language in from all sorts of directions. And you kind of just want the most exposure as possible. I've been learning French for around 2 years now. In the beginning, I was eager to do everything because my personal goal was fluency. But in the end, this did ultimately get me burned out as I was trying to do too many things at once, hours on end. And I feel like this guide could save you guys that time and not have you guys in my shoes. Hopefully these resources I provide will allow you guys to pick 2 or 3, hone your skills in them, and then move on to the next and kind of take it one step at a time. And to preface, none of these resources are sponsored, so I will be giving my pros and cons for each, just sharing you guys my own personal experience and what I would do if I were you guys. So my first resource is Pimsleur. Pimsleur is an audio-based course with 51 languages and additional ESL courses, meaning English as a second language course. Pimsleur gets you started off with 5 levels for each language. Within each level, you are given 30 lessons that are all 30 minutes each, and they all come alongside with a reading lesson as well, helping you get familiar with the phonetics of the language you're learning. It feels like a podcast, but it is very interactive. You are having conversations with the speaker as you're listening, and it puts you in real-life scenarios as if you were ordering food, shopping, or asking for directions. It's immersive and it does its job well, helping you get familiar with the vocab and starter conversations very easily and with low effort and low stress. My only con for Pimsleur is really just the length and the amount of time each lesson is, as some people may find it hard to fit 30 minutes into a day, being completely focused and responding back to the person in an interactive way. But if you have the time, I do think that these lessons are really valuable to use. They do also offer other features apart from the reading lessons and the audio lessons, so I would recommend checking those out as well, as I found them pretty useful in my opinion. The price point for Pimsleur can be kind of steep as well, though I do think once again it is pretty valuable for what they offer you as long as you stay committed to it. And that being said, I do think that if you're a casual person and you're looking to travel somewhere, Pimsleur is almost made for you guys, as most of the scenarios are putting you in the shoes of a native there or a local traveling there. So it's perfect getting those conversations already ingrained in your mind and reinforced. I could even argue that if you're someone who wants to become fully fluent in language, Pimsleur is not a bad app to check out, as once again, it does help you kind of build those daily life scenarios that you would encounter if you were to travel to that country and you would have to do daily life in that country as well. My second resource is a personal favorite of mine, being Lingopie. Lingopie is a streaming platform that teaches you a language through TV shows, movies, and music, and it's one of my favorite for building comprehensible input. They also have really solid features, my favorites being the dual subtitles, which is your native language plus your target language on the screen. You can have both or just one at a time. They also allow you to tap any word on the screen, and it saves it to a deck for you that uses spaced repetition. And lastly is a shadowing feature, which essentially helps you with your pronunciation by copying the native speaker and getting the sounds right. My main con is that they only cover 14 languages, but they do cover most of the popular ones. So if you are someone who is studying a more commonly spoken language, I would recommend you check out Lingopie, as I have nothing but good things to say about them essentially. I would recommend Lingopie is if you're really taking your language seriously. So if you're aiming for fluency, I do think this is a perfect app for you. Now my next resource is Language Transfer. Language Transfer is a completely free audio course that offers up to 8 languages and 1 ESL course for Spanish speakers. The lessons are short and concise, focusing on transferring what you know from your native language to your target language. It's very different from Pimsleur and takes an approach that focuses more on grammar and vocab rather than putting you in scenarios that you would reenact with a speaker. I'd honestly recommend Language Transfer for everyone, as it's free, short, and has a lot of value that would help you in the beginning stages of learning a language. For my next resource, I would have to recommend grammar books, but specifically those that are for students or learners of a second language. I picked up my first one after getting recommended one from my professor, and at first I thought it was boring and unnecessary, but after going through it, it really explained the French grammar through the lens of an English speaker, which made everything more intuitive at the beginning of my language learning process. I'd even argue that some of these books can be more comprehensive than language transfer as well. And if language transfer doesn't offer your language, I would say this is a perfect substitute for that. But if language transfer does offer your language, you can start off with that. And if you really need additional help, then I do think a grammar book in this style would be beneficial to you as well. I would mostly recommend this for students as you want to know the grammar as best as you can for school, but I can also argue that if you're aiming for fluency and you want better in-depth understanding of the grammar and the language itself, this is also a good option for you as well. My next resource is HelloTalk. HelloTalk is essentially a language exchange app that connects you with other native speakers in your target language. It has some pretty cool features like text corrections, voice rooms, live streams, and posts as well. It's essentially an Instagram for language learners. It's honestly pretty fun in my opinion. I say this is perfect for anyone who's casual or if you're traveling somewhere or if you're aiming for fluency. It's really good for conversational practice, getting cultural exposure to the language as well, and also knowing the modern expressions that they use in that language today. The app is also free as well, so it doesn't help to check it out regardless. My next resource is italki. Italki is a tutoring platform that offers up to 150 languages, being one of the most versatile resources I have on this list. Italki also allows you to filter their tutors by professional tutors and community tutors. Professional tutors being those who have taught the language before and have taken a certification or an exam to be qualified to teach the language to other people. And community tutors are essentially those who aren't qualified or may have not taken a test to teach the language, but they are native speakers, still giving them value to help you guys learn the language as well. My personal experience with a community tutor was very helpful, but casual. If I were to do it again, I would upgrade to a professional tutor later on if you are someone who is taking the language more seriously, as it offers you more structure and more tracking for your progress, in my opinion. I would definitely say Italki is great for those who are aiming for fluency in a language, but also if you're a student and you're looking for additional help as well. My next resource is Anki. And if there's one tool that you take away and I would say is a must use, it would be this one. Anki is a powerhouse program that really helps you with vocab acquisition and memorization as well. Anki is also great for comprehensible input. And comprehensible input is only good for when you know enough vocab to understand what you're hearing, which is why Anki is so valuable, as it handles this by using spaced repetition to help you acquire vocab better and memorize it as well. It's free on PC and browser, but it also has a paid version on your phone, which I wouldn't recommend. You can just use the website for free. And you can also download pre-made decks that are for your language. For me personally, it meant typing in French vocab deck, Anki, and I found loads of deck that was already made by people. You just have to download it and import it into your own Anki program, and you essentially have done all the work for making a deck. It's free on PC and web browser, but not on the App Store, and I wouldn't recommend getting it on the App Store. I would definitely recommend this for every language learner, as it's free and accessible and helps you get familiar with the vocab early on. And my next resource is weird, but I'm going to have to give it to Dictionaries and Thesauruses. Dictionaries and thesauruses seem very dated when you have language translators that you can just easily access on your phone, but I do think that they are very undervalued today. I found dictionaries helpful as manually looking up the word allowed me to better acquire the word in my memory rather than just typing it in on my phone and looking it up on a translator app. I've looked up the same word numerous times on a translator app versus words that I've manually went through my dictionary, found it, and written it down, and I've just easily remembered it that way better because I just put in the more mental effort to do so. So yes, it can be boring sometimes and very tedious as well, but it's really valuable for having the better vocab retention. I would really only recommend a dictionary though if you are pretty serious about learning your language, and if you're someone who doesn't really care about expansive vocabulary, then you can just pass it off and gradually get your vocab through Anki or other sources like media, TV shows, whichever. Now my next resource is Lingolia. Lingolia is a grammar-focused website perfect for beginners. It's easy to navigate, low effort, and it's very affordable for the full version as well. Lingolia does a great job at being really extensive on their grammar lessons. My only con with Lingolia is that they only offer a handful of languages, but if you are learning one of them, I do think it is really good to check it out. Once again, perfect for students or those who are aiming for fluency, and you want to get familiar with the grammar early on. And my last resource is Quizzic. Quizzic is on their grammar website, but it's a lot more premium than Lingolia. They offer personal timelines, roadmaps, and study plans based on where you are in your own target language. It honestly feels like you have a lot of help and you're being guided along the process rather than just getting a general overview of a grammar structure. My only con being Quizzic only offers up to 2 languages, which is very tight, but it is so valuable with the personalized structure that they do have. And if you're serious about learning your language, I would definitely recommend just purchasing Quizzic over Lingolia for the simple fact that it is more personalized and more structured, and I had a lot of success by using Quizzic. I would really only recommend Quizzic for those who are students or for those who are aiming for fluency in a language. So these are all my list of resources I frequently use up until now, and of course this barely scratches the surface. There are tons of resources out there, so if you have any ones that are helpful of your own, I would recommend you share them down below as well. I personally learned that language learning is not just a pastime hobby, but more so a long-term commitment, one that requires a lot of your time and your money. So I hope that my video served as a clear starting point and a system that you can eventually build and follow. That's all for me though, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.